Welcome to This Prepared Life podcast, where homesteading and the apocalypse meet. I'm Allison, your host. Well, welcome to episode 1. I am so incredibly excited to be here and doing this, and I hope you are just as excited as I am to be listening. I'm going to start by giving a little bit of an introduction. I know some of you follow me over on Instagram, so you know me over there. But for those of you who are new, I will let you know a little bit about myself, my passion for preparedness, and then also what I hope this podcast can accomplish. So as I said a couple minutes ago, my name is Allison, and I am a mom to 4. My kids are all older. I have passed the toddler and the preschooler and the elementary school stages. My youngest is 13 and my oldest is 20. She's off on her own right now. I have been married for 19 years and together with my husband for 23. So that feels like a really long time. We have been homesteading or hobby farming in some way, shape, or form for probably about the last 15 years. We have had all manner of animals, from chickens to dairy goats to meat rabbits to turkeys. You name it. If it's not one of the larger animals, we've probably tried it or still have it. I am an avid gardener. Our goal is to grow as much of our own food as we can, and what we cannot grow ourselves, we strive to buy from local farmers when possible. And when it comes to prepping, I have been intentionally prepping for probably about 2 years now. And I say intentionally because in the past, I never called myself a prepper. I was not a prepper. We could have probably ate off of our pantry for 3 to 6 months, but that was just how I like to stock my kitchen, because who wants to run out of an ingredient when you're cooking? So I did not call myself a prepper, but when I look back, I was totally a prepper. So that's why I say intentionally prepping. Right now I am prepping with a plan and a purpose. So we currently live on a 20-acre homestead in North Idaho, and we moved from a 5-acre homestead in Southwest Washington last year in 2020. So that was a big move for us and a big move for our children. But we love it here. We love North Idaho. We love the people. We love the climate. So we are so excited and just so blessed to be here in the space we are in. We have a 1927 farmhouse, and there's an old dairy barn on our property that is just breathtaking, and we hope to get it restored enough to be functional at some point in the future. When I started prepping, intentional prepping, I went, of course, to Google and just started searching. And I was like, what does this look like? I have a sister who is in the LDS church, a sister-in-law. And I've seen what she does a little bit, but I really just wanted some more information. And there's a lot of information out there for prepping, but the majority of it that I was coming across were articles or blog posts, YouTubes by men with a very militia, ammunition, firearm heavy content. And as mom of 4, that was really not the information I was looking for. That is my husband's department. We call me jokingly the keeper of the food. So from seed to stomach, that is my job. And I love that job and I embrace that job. But when I was looking for just information for prepping, a few blogs came up by women, and I just devoured those and hopped on Instagram and found some great women who prep on Instagram that I just adore their content. But it really was a lot of slim pickings. And so I hope that this podcast can bring some of those women's voices out for others to hear, that we can hear their stories and their prepping journey with guests here on the podcast. That would be a big one for me, that we can have education and learn, no matter if we are brand new at this and have no idea where to even start, to if we've been doing this for 10 years. We all have something to learn, and we should all be sharing that knowledge. And then encouragement, just encouraging one another to continue and to stick with this lifestyle of preparedness, because I firmly believe that preparedness is a lifestyle and not a hobby. It is not something you do. That is just me in a nutshell, and my hope for this podcast and kind of my journey to get where I am today. So before we can go any farther, let's define prepper and define preparedness. So I pulled up the dictionary definitions, but I am going to use a totally different definition. There are some similarities. So a prepper is a person who believes a catastrophic disaster or emergency is likely to occur in the future and makes active preparations for it, typically by stockpiling food, ammunition, and other supplies. Preparedness is a state of readiness, especially for war. So for me, a prepper is someone who preps, and preparedness is planning for the things to come. That's it, planning for the things to come. We don't know what is coming, but we can plan for them. About 12 years ago, my husband decided to quit his job and start his own business. Anyone who knows anything about starting a business, you know that in the beginning, the income is not coming in. And at that point, I was not a prepper, but I did do couponing, and we had this massive stockpile of goods and hygiene products. And about a year into him starting his business and his income building, we realized that we had not had to purchase hygiene for our family of 6 for the entire year. Well, that wasn't intentional. I did not stockpile those items because my husband was going to quit his job and start a business. I stockpiled those items because I was couponing and I could get them for free. That is an example of something we can prepare for. We don't always need to prepare for the end of the world as we know it. Sometimes what we're preparing for is a job loss or an earthquake or these normal things that happen in life. Another example of preparedness is, as mom, I cook dinner, breakfast, lunch. And if I am going to make something for dinner, it's a lot easier if I have those ingredients in my kitchen. And if I don't have those ingredients in my kitchen, I have a backup. There's a phrase called 1 is none and 2 is 1. And that kind of goes around the prepping world. And I really believe that. And long before I called myself a prepper, I always had one extra of the main ingredients to bake or make any meal, because with 4 young children, I did not want to have to run to the store because I'm making bread and I'm out of flour. I really believe that every single one of us should be prepared, especially women. So it doesn't matter if you are single or a mom of 12 or a grandmother. There is a place for you in prepping. And I really hope that more of us can be prepared for our families. In the event of an emergency, your children are going to be looking at you for basic necessities, food and water and clothing and shelter, not the neighbor and not the government. So as mom, having those things that our families need is so important. And I really, really believe that everyone can and should be a prepper. So, like I said before, my hope for this podcast and for you as the listener is that we will share stories and just feature women on their prepping journey. So if you know of someone or you are someone who would be interested in being a guest, please don't hesitate to let me know. You can email me at thispreparedlife@gmail.com or contact me on Instagram at thispreparedlife. I also hope that this can be a great place of education for all of us and encouragement. Thanks for listening today, and until next time, remember, every little thing matters, and a goal without a plan is just a wish. If you have any questions, feel free and find me on Instagram at This Prepared Life. You can also visit thispreparedlife.blogspot.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would love it if you would leave a review on Apple Podcasts.